Big lavish pedal boards loaded to the brim with effects can be an awful lot of fun, but I also find myself really enjoying simplicity, and so this is a small pedal board loaded with what I consider my gig essentials. What's up, everyone? I'm Jack Fossett. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this demo and review and just special feature video on a Gig Essentials pedal board that I have put together. A relatively small pedal board that just has the effects that I don't want to say need, because need is a very generous term. Let's say these are the effects that I prefer to have with me, and if we're really stripping it down, this is the stuff that it's kind of like, again, being overly generous here, that I don't want to live without if I'm going to play. Now, there are plenty of gigs where I'm happy to go with just an amp, guitar going straight into the amp, but I like my effects, and I really like the freedom, the expression that effects give you, and so these are just the bare minimums of ones that I like to have. Now, I do want to say a huge thank you to Ghostfire, who sponsored this video with their powered PP1 pedal board. This is a relatively small, lightweight pedal board, comes with a gig bag, comes with the Velcro, it comes with all the power cables that you need, has 9 power outputs plus a USB power output, works really well, and is not that expensive. And that's great, I think, because pedal boards are one of those things that I get curious as to why some of them are so expensive. It's like it's a hunk of molded metal. And there's somewhere you're kind of like, was it made in an ancient Roman forge? Like, why does it cost so much? These are very, very reasonably priced. And again, with the power supply built in, especially if you're looking at putting together a modest pedal board, just something smaller that's just a few of the things that you need. The whole point is to be kind of ergonomic about it. And so you don't want to be dumping a ton of money into a pedal board, into a power supply, and into all these other intangibles and things. So this is a really great product, and the power supply is working fantastic. Now, I am also starting with a tuner, and I'm using a very modest tuner here as well. This is a Monoprice Stage Right tuner. This is only $25. Very inexpensive. So far has worked great, and actually has a really nice bright display, even that I like better than some higher end tuners. It's just right in your face, very, very responsive to playing. So now that we've got those out of the way, I want to mention to you what the effects are. I have a fuzz, I have an overdrive, I have one dual modulation effect, and I have a delay. Now, with the little teaser shots there, you already saw some of what the brands are. So some of you might have even guessed what some of these effects are. But we are going to start with the fuzz. And today for a fuzz, we have one of my absolute favorite fuzz pedals of all time. This is the Mojo Hand Effects Crosstown. So that's a killer fuzz face style fuzz, and it blends the germanium and silicon styles with a great body knob that basically allows you to dial it in more like that slender biting distortion like the silicon, or that really warm full-bodied rounder effect, fuzz face effect, kind of like the germanium. And it just sounds great. It's very responsive. An awesome, awesome pedal that I can't recommend enough. Now, we are going into an overdrive. And I might have cheated a little bit here because this is an overdrive with an extra gain stage, foot switchable gain stage on it. This is the Jam Pedals Lucy Dreamer. Now, this was a TS-based effect, but it really has its own thing going, and particularly one of the things I like about it is it has a mix knob for the overdrive. It's a wet-dry, so you don't have to blend in the entire distorted signal. And I think that's actually really clever because it kind of allows you to get a certain character of gain, but without it completely saturating your tone. It's just a really interesting thing that I don't see on a ton of drive pedals. And that second distorted boost works really, really well with it. Now, at this point, I do want to mention many of these pedals I have gotten through sponsored reviews. However, the only thing sponsored in this video is the Ghostfire pedal board. None of the pedal makers asked to be involved in this video or paid me anything, and the Lucy Dreamer is actually the one effect that it was actually, I would say, got on my own, but my wife actually got that for me as a gift because we have a daughter named Lucy. So, had to have the Lucy Dreamer pedal. Moving right along, we're going to get up to the one pedal that I will actually say I could live without on this board, but I'm really, really glad it's here. This is the Keeley Hydra. All right, so the Hydra, as you can hear, is a dual reverb and tremolo, and it actually does more than that because not only does it give you 3 different distinct flavors of reverb, it also gives you sine wave tremolo, it gives you pitch shifting vibrato, or it gives you harmonic tremolo, which gives you that kind of phasery tone. The reason that I say that this is the one that I could live without is because primarily I'm using this as a reverb and tremolo, and many of the amps that I have reverb and tremolo, or at least reverb. I really like having it on the board. Now, if it's an amplifier that already has, let's say it has both, if it has reverb and tremolo, I would use the reverb as a boosted reverb for a really lush ambient tone. If the amp doesn't have reverb, I'd use the reverb lighter as kind of an always on just to give me a little bit of air. Likewise with the tremolo. If the amp I have has built-in tremolo, then what I would use is use it for the harmonic mode. But right now I'm plugging into my Rivera Venus Do, which does have reverb, but no tremolo. So you heard I'm using the reverb to push the verb a little bit more, and I'm using the straight-up tremolo sound. Now we are getting to the last effect, which pairs beautifully with the Hydra. This is the Keeley Echoes. funny thing is I'm not using the echoes for like a fraction of what it actually does. But I just really like this pedal, and I've always felt it pairs well with the Hydra. Those two also give me the ability to run this rig in stereo if I want to. If I want to use a couple of small amps and get a really cool lush sound coming out of each amp, I could run this in stereo. Today I'm just doing it in mono, but that is my Gig Essentials Pedalboard. We have the Monoprice Stage Right tuner, we have the Mojo Hand FX Crosstown Fuzz, the Jam Pedals Lucy Dreamer, the Keeley Hydra, and the Keeley Echoes. And I could honestly do pretty much anything that I wanted to with this little pedal board. The tones are rich, they're powerful, they can also be subtle if I want them to be. It gives me a little bit of flexibility in the modulation, and the delay, I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm only using that for a fraction of what it does. I could use that as a looper, but I'm not going to because I hate loopers. Fun fact about me. However, this pedal can also just do a ton of stuff with, tap tempo, modulated delay. I really just use it not quite as a slapback, but in that realm, again, just to give me a little bit of dimension to my tone. And they all pair beautifully well as well. So what I want to do to wrap up this video is play some combinations. And again, I do want to reiterate, not only did the pedal makers not sponsor this, but actually I will say several of these pedals were ones that I originally got for reviews. At certain points had to sell. We all get to points in our life when we need to sell stuff, and pedals are usually a quick way to make some extra cash. So I sold off several of these pedals, but I liked them so much that I bought them back on my own. So hopefully that tells you all you need to know about how I feel about these as far as actual effects pedals. I'm going to link below to where you can get all of these. They're affiliate links, so feel free to shop through those links, help support my channel. But let us know, what would be on your Gig Essential Pedalboard? Are you someone who can get away with just a straight up overdrive? And I've done that before. I've gone to gigs with, just an amp. I've gone to gigs with an amp and just an overdrive with a 9-volt, which I will say feels very, very liberating. But as far as an actual pedal board with several effects, this is one that I feel really strongly about. Again, also, if you're looking at putting together whether a small, simple pedal board or a more fancy one, check out Ghostfire stuff because it's very, very reasonably priced. They've got a lot of options, including pedal boards with built-in power supplies. So again, links to all that below. Let's hear some combination tones to close out the video. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
give up on me, babe. I want your heart to heal. Please don't turn around. I can't take it if you run. Don't you know I'm sure that girl, you are the only one. My Rebecca, how I wish you knew that where I want to be is just right here with you. My Rebecca, I wish that you could see that where you belong is just right here with me. My Rebecca. My Rebecca.